What's up, y'all? Gonzo's Convos, season 5, episode, I think we're on 22 now. I kind of lost count again. I'm sorry, though. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Ramos, and I am a health and fitness coach specifically for Latinas.
Okay, so what got you into doing that? Because that's really cool, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So, personally, my own fitness journey, when I started working out, I had a lot of struggles with the weekends, like all the family parties that we do have, and overall just incorporating more of our culture into fitness. And that's something that I really didn't see in the
Yeah.
fitness industry. So that's what really got me like specifically focusing on training Latinas, helping them live a healthier lifestyle while still incorporating like our Latino dishes.
Okay, I like that. How long have you been doing that for?
So I've been a coach for 3 years now,
Mm.
specifically coaching Latinas about seven, no, since May of last year. I
May of
don't know.
last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so before that, you're just doing regular training, everybody type of deal.
Yeah, kind of training everyone. I was a counselor as well, so that's what my background's on is counseling.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. So like when you're doing like these physical stuff, is it just like regular like working out type of thing, or is it
So I
like
do their I do their programs through an app called Trainerize, and then I help them with their nutrition. Some do macros, some are in our community. So it's like it's not just training; it's also community because I believe that's super important in
yeah?
reaching goals. It's like having that support because yes, you can. Someone can just give you a training plan. You can find that online, right?
Yeah,
What
that's
you're looking to accomplish. However, it's really important that you have that community. So we also really focus on building that community.
okay.
Um,
So that's good. I was gonna say because a lot of trainers these days they're kind of just like they'll give you like a workout set and they're like, all right, you go
yeah,
do that now. I'm gonna go do whatever I gotta do type of deal. And it's like, all right, cool.
it's so much more than that, and that's something that I've kind of drifted away from. Is not really focusing on like the building muscle part. Like, yes, you want to build a muscle. Yes, you want to have a program, but also things do come up in life.
Yeah, that's true.
Very
That's true.
important, yeah. Keep
So,
that in
so
mind as well.
you said what now?
Oh, I said just keeping that in mind as well, like as a trainer, that everyone, isn't just wanting to get super jacked. Like that's not
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah, that's true. I would say the way you do it, like the whole community wise and everything, that's a lot how boxing and MMA trainers are. It's more so like a big family that just trains together every day and prepares each other for stuff.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
know.
really cool.
How long have you been doing that for?
I haven't done it in a minute now. Kind of just been out of it mainly due to COVID. But before that, was doing it for a good little minute. It was pretty cool. Kind of
Yeah,
miss it. Kind of want to go back into it.
I used to actually do. Well, it's probably not the same, but kickboxing.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, yeah. I
I
I
miss
actually,
such a good workout.
I like kickboxing. At the same time, I always hated it because I knew I was gonna leave that workout with my legs feeling like trash.
Yeah, it was intense, but I like it.
That's
Something
a
different.
that's a that was the tough. That's probably one of the toughest training things I ever did, and I
Mhm.
had to do it because it's part of it.
Yeah. So
Mm-mm.
you don't do any training right now?
I'm currently still training. I just haven't competed for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, just been training for now. So hopefully I can get some competitions going in here pretty soon. Stuff like that.
What got you into training yourself?
So when I was 6 years old, I started with wrestling. That's my base right there, and I did that all throughout school, all the way till high school, and even after a little bit. And while I was in high school as well, that's when I really started training mixed martial arts, started learning jujitsu, kickboxing, started getting more into boxing as well. So, just kind of adapted myself a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's a
it's
lot.
I definitely recommend it. Like even if people aren't trying to compete, if you just want to get fit and know how to defend yourself, I
Yeah.
recommend it. I
Yeah,
recommend it.
I'm looking into it because that's when I lived in San Diego. I don't know if you've definitely
And
heard.
DZ, they go. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
it.
I loved it. I loved it so much. There's so much to do over there. But yeah, that's where I was doing my kickboxing classes.
That's cool. I've never been to Dago, but I have family that lives in Pasadena, so I guess
Hmm.
somewhere
Oh,
in Cali. I'm originally from Colorado myself, so
oh, really? From what
yeah.
part?
My family comes from Pueblo and further south, but I was born and raised in Springs, Sea Springs,
Oh, wait, where's that at?
Colorado Springs. That's like where the Olympic Training Center is, and it's
Mm,
like I want to say a good hour away from Denver.
yeah. Okay, so I've been to Denver before. It's super nice.
Everybody goes to Denver when they go to Colorado. They forget about the other areas.
Yeah, I
But
really
like
liked it. I was like, I kind of want to move there, but then I'm like, you hate the cold, especially here in California when it gets cold.
it gets cold in California, maybe NorCal.
Yeah, and yeah, I live in Merced, so the
Yeah, let me
central.
say like SoCal seems like it's just hot and warm every season, and then NorCal it can get cold, like San Francisco.
Yeah, so I live like 2 hours away from San Francisco.
Okay, so you're a Niners fan.
No, I'm not. I don't
You're
watch
not?
football.
You know what?
I'm,
You're not a
I'm
big football fan?
no, no.
No,
I've tried to get into it, but I just don't. There's too much going on.
there is a lot going on, but I mean it's not too late to start. It's not too late to get
Yeah,
into it.
I've actually been to a Raiders game at the football stadium in Vegas,
I'm a Raiders fan myself, so I'm glad you said that.
but I had no idea what was going on. I was just there for the vibes.
I mean, if you go on the
Like,
Raiders game, you're gonna see some vibes, some all kinds of different vibes. Angry to the happy to someone fighting, like you see a bunch of shit. It's funny.
yeah, it was an experience. It was a good game too.
So would you ever go to another Raiders game?
Um, I mean, probably yeah, but that wouldn't be like my choice of doing something fun.
So it wasn't fun.
No, it was fun. It was fun. It was an experience, but if I had a choice of choosing what to do, it wouldn't be going to a football game.
Yeah, like that'd probably be like what, like number 10 out of like
Yeah,
the whole list. Like
definitely.
the middle of the to do list. I got you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
So
Have you been to any games?
nah, I want to go to the new stadium in Vegas.
Hmm.
I do want to go one day for
That's nice.
sure.
Yeah. That's
Hopefully, hopefully there's no fights or anything that happens.
yeah.
Because
There wasn't anyone I went, so
I was gonna say though, because I know since they moved to Vegas, it's been less violence and stuff. It's been regular fans and stuff like that. But when they're in Oakland, and that was a different story.
oh.
Oakland, people were getting stabbed in Oakland. It was getting crazy. Yeah. But
Mm,
going into the topic at hand, this generation, right? What are
mhm.
your overall thoughts on it? Like, what are the pros and cons that you think this generation has?
Hmm.
If I get a lot.
So much. So much going on with social media right now. I just think people just do a lot of things to impress other people in this generation. Like a lot of people are having a hard time truly finding like what makes them happy because they
Right.
care too much about what other people think. And I'm definitely guilty of this sometimes. I have to just like snap myself out of it. But truly understanding like what makes them happy. We're just so attached to our phones, to what other people think.
Right.
There are a lot of people are struggling right now.
Well, I would say, yeah, I agree with that. But I would say for me, I work with social media, so it's kind of like one of those things where I have to do that. You know what I mean? Kind of just have
Yeah.
to schedule, do all kinds of stuff for the podcast and stuff like that. But I
Mhm.
try not to be that person. I try not to be like the influencer type shits. I'm not trying to do all that.
Yeah.
So,
So,
but I
are
was
you on TikTok?
all of it, but mainly Instagram. I don't know.
Maybe Instagram, yeah.
I like so
With
like
the
with you said what?
Oh, I said especially with Instagram, like right now, Instagram's so low. Like it's different. It's changed.
It has changed, but I will say it's not as toxic as it used to be. I think TikTok kind of took that over, you know,
Mhm.
especially like if you go live a lot, like you can see like this definitely takes the cake on its toxicity for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like so many people support. Like there's so many great creators, people that share great things, but
Right.
a lot of people support like I don't want to say names, but just like it's like dumb, just like fighting, like people just fighting, having arguments, like all the drama.
Well, not only that, but people are taking the vibe away from TikTok. Like if you go live, you can connect with other people and just have a cool conversation with people. It still happens, you know. Whenever I go live, it'll sometimes happen. But
Yeah,
other times, I'll connect with somebody and they'll be like, "You want to battle?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm just vibing." And they're like, "All right, I'm out." It's like
yeah,
they're just trying to battle, you know, get their gifts going in, get money, which I can't knock them for that. You know, that's what they want to do. But I
hmm,
just feel like that took the whole purpose of meeting people, networking, and vibing with people. It took away all of that. I feel like
yeah.
if they, you know,
No, I'm
but I
not
like
huge on TikTok, but I do see the lives. Sometimes I'm like, when people are like bad, like I'm like, what's going on here?
yeah, they're like talking trash to each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, like what is this? So it's very interesting. But there is also some cons as well. You're also in control of what you do view on your social media, what you look like, what you look at. I mean, so really taking care of your mental health if you're on social media is super important as well.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And especially if you're a content creator, you got to deal with not only like the support love that you get, you got to deal with hate too. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
So I had to learn how to deal with that type of stuff because I used to reply back to them. You know, like they would show hate and I would like, all right, motherfucker. Like I would throw something back. Then I had to learn not to do that because that could mess me over. That could fuck me over later on. So I was like,
Yeah,
I'll just hit the block button and then go on about my day. That's the best thing you could do.
yeah. And how long have you been on social media for?
Whew, I don't even know. It's been a long time. I feel like you know. Because there was a point in time I was like on and off with it. Like before I even started podcast, I was on and off with it.
Mhm.
But I would say ever since I did start this, that's when it started growing significantly, and I started seeing more support and hate at the same time. You know.
You have a big following. Was that from like fighting or what do you think? Like I'm
So
curious.
I would say a good piece of it came from back when I was competing and was training and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then the rest of it came when I started doing more social media type stuff and podcasting stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're doing this. I'm glad you're doing this. A lot of people are doing podcasts now, and I feel like this is how you can really connect with other people is through
Right.
podcasts.
Right. Well, I like doing this type of stuff too instead of like the in person because I can not only just connect with people in my area, but I can connect with people all over the place and have
Yeah,
different networks, different vibes going around. I like that. I've
yeah,
had people tell me like do in person, like what are you doing? That's gonna blow you up even more. And I'm like, I
mhm,
would, but like I kind of fuck with this though. Like this is cool.
yeah. I mean, and some in person would be cool too.
In person would be cool, and that's something I would want to do, in the near future. But
Mhm.
I like this though, because I've had people from the UK, Canada, like a lot of different people from all walks of life. And I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's a great thing about social media is like you're always being able to connect with so many different people from all over the world.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's what I like about. That's like one of the probably the only thing I like about social media is you can put yourself out there and connect with other people, and just get some positive shit going. But
Yeah,
then you get those that are like, I'm here for the hate. I'm here to drop stuff on people, and it's like
but it's
there's
usually like the strangers that support you rather than like the people that are like not in necessarily in your circle, but like from your community.
I could so
What
I could
about?
say it's never been people that were in the circle. It's always been people like random people. Like those random messages you get in the requests. There's always been one of those people that would show hate type of deal.
With no profile.
I mean, one of them had a profile pic, but he had like 200 followers and like following 900 something. I was like, all right, I don't really care about followers or anything like that, but it's like if you're gonna be random, like at least know what's up.
Yeah, no,
But
definitely.
that's the thing about this generation too is instead of people saying stuff to each other's faces or going on dates or doing anything like that, it's all social media. It's all over the phone.
Yeah.
Like
And
if you see the way people ask if you see the way people ask out each other, it's over the phone. It ain't in person anymore.
with relationships, I think I've noticed there's like a huge shift as well because there's so much on TikTok, on social media, and it's all just a lot of BS. People
Yeah.
that don't even know. So I feel like that affects a lot of relationships as well. And people always feel like they have so many options.
Yeah, I was saying that in the past couple episodes actually that I was saying it also leaves more leadway for people to cheat and kind of mess around with that area, that gray area. I feel like, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So just being mindful of that as
I mean,
well.
that's like I said. I think that's just a new norm. It's a part of our generation, unfortunately. And I grew up, I guess you could say, in this generation. I don't really like saying that though. I'm a 2002 baby, so I was born around the time when it was still kind of good, and then it was starting to get bad when it hit later on, type of deal.
Yeah. Well, I feel like there's definitely always been like every like generation has their own thing, but now like we're able to see it through social media now that we do have access to
Well,
social
I
media,
feel like I feel
which
like
is
relationship wise, like back in the '90s or like the early 2000s, from what I've seen, it didn't seem like it was so like as toxic as it is nowadays.
yeah, no, okay, I agree with that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it seemed like people were still doing face to face interactions, stuff like that, going on dates. Homies showing up to your door, knocking on the door to get you outside. Like people still did stuff like that.
I don't know how if you know much about this, but like feminine and masculine energy.
I do, and to be honest with you, like I don't really know. I can't really say I know too much about it because I've heard the word feminizing, toxic masculinity, all this other stuff that was thrown out there. I kind of have an idea what toxic masculinity is, but I feel like it's also one of those words that's just thrown out there too much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I think that's also kind of a something that our generation does like struggle with a little bit too. Like as women, always wanting to be working and like being that boss babe, which I love it too. But also kind of going back to the old ways too.
Right, right. Which I mean, I support that. I support like, if people do what they want to do. I'm that guy like when I'm like, hey, if you want to do that, do it. You know,
Yeah,
you want to own a company, work your way up to do it.
yeah,
Don't let nothing stop you. But then I meet people that are like, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, they're still in the same place where they started.
yeah. I mean, it's hard. Building a business is hard. You need to have that, like having that support, especially right now. I'm me myself as a business owner, knowing a lot of people in business as well who are, struggling, and it's important that you do have that support group that's gonna like push you and move you forward,
Right,
and not kind of support if you're doubting yourself, like whatever it may be, those negative thoughts, like having people that are rooting for you.
right, right. And for those that also want to go down that route to business, like what's your advice for them that want to go down the route of owning a business?
Ooh, okay. So much I can say.
My Spanish almost came out for a little bit. My fault. Got mixed up a little bit.
Wait, sorry, what was that?
No, I said my Spanish almost came out like that's one of those things I hate about being bilingual. Is sometimes it'll slip out.
It's okay. I mean, I speak Spanish, so you're good.
Okay, that's good.
Um,
That's good. See, yeah.
what was that?
No, I was just saying that's good. But yeah, what would be your advice for people that want to own a company and want to get started?
It's hard work. It's hard work. But as long as you love it and it's your purpose, keep pushing, surround yourself by individuals who support you. I think that's the biggest thing is having like that community, especially at the start. And even if that means that you have to invest in yourself, if you don't have that community
Right,
around you, invest because you will make that investment back and you're always going to be learning. But keep pushing. It's hard work, but as long as it's something that you truly love and you enjoy, it's always going to be worth it. But my
yeah,
biggest advice is always going to be lean into having a community who understands you. Whatever kind of business that you're wanting to go into, reach out for advice, have that community, because it makes such a huge difference when you have people around you who understand your struggles, but who are also there to share the wins that you go through in your business. And also in business, you learn so much about yourself.
Yeah, I feel like that's true. Absolutely. I feel like
Yeah,
whatever goal you choose to chase and you start growing on it, you end up becoming a different person for the better though.
yeah,
You know? But what I've also seen a lot of people do is they'll make plans to get these companies or let's start a company with their friends or family or whatever, and they'll start it out that way. And people have found that that's been easier to do instead of just trying to do it single handedly.
yeah.
You know? So,
I like that too. That's a great idea too. Because
mhm,
before, when I first started, I wanted to do everything solo. Like I wanted to be that boss babe that was independent, had her own business, but
yeah,
in a community, having other people on your team that you can rely on, it
right.
makes it makes the journey so much more enjoyable.
Absolutely. And I can even vouch for that because when I first started podcasting, it was me and two of my homies that started podcasting from the
Mhm.
jump.
Yeah.
And later on down the line they found different paths that they wanted to take. And
Hmm.
I mean we're still cool to this day. It's not like they just like up and left and it's like, hey, fuck you type two. It's like they had something else they had to do and then I took over as the main dude continuing the podcast. So, you know,
Yeah.
having a team behind you definitely helps for sure.
Yeah, it makes a difference. How do you like it now? Are you wanting to bring more people onto your team or planning to stay solo?
I feel like it'd be cool to get a team going again, or even just starting to do more so like group podcasting. So instead of like this right here, this is like a just a us two type thing. But
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to get more people on at the same time. Especially it'd be easier on the scheduling too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It'd be a lot easier, but I feel like it'd be cool to do something like that.
It would be. I'm curious what got you into podcasting.
So funny story. Back when I was in high school, it was back in Snap when Snapchat was a big thing. I used to make a lot of snap videos with my homies and stuff like that. And eventually people were like, y'all should start a YouTube, y'all should start a podcast, start something, you guys got the personality for it.
Hmm.
So eventually we just took that route and we chose to do podcasting and stuff. Just talk about a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I'm interested in that's why.
You said
like
you're what?
I'm interested in like doing in podcasting. Like it sounds like you get to connect with so many individuals, hear so many individual stories,
Yeah.
give
There's a
thought.
lot of people I've met doing this. And I appreciate that opportunity that I had. I'm in the fifth season right now. About to be in the sixth, this coming fall. So it's been a journey, but it's a blessed journey, I would say. You know,
Yeah.
and if you like this type of stuff, you like vibing and networking and connecting with people, definitely get started into it. Have you thought about podcasting?
I have because I listen to a lot of podcasts. A lot of podcasts have like changed my life, like what they have to say, what they share about their
Right.
journeys. So yeah, definitely.
So
I'm keeping
what do you think of a lot of the male podcasters in this generation?
the male podcasters.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot, but I listen to a lot of like self help,
Hmm.
um, self development, more like business driven.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to say like Fresh and Fit or like Andrew Tate or something like that. Because there's a lot of people that are like, I like them, and then there's a lot of people that are like, nah, like I don't like them at all. It's
No,
like,
it depends, and I'm really like kind of picky because before I used to like really listen to hard podcasters who are like you gotta go all in, work hard, like yeah. But I also love to like I love to do more of a balance too because I'm like yes, but that I realize like that's not how I want to live my life. Is like working this day and night. Like I want
right.
to as I'm building.
I never understood how these other male podcasters. I mean, I watch them too, and they're funny. The drama's cool, whatever. The cheese me. I'm for it,
Yeah.
whatever. It's not my thing. I'm not gonna do it on mine, but
Yeah.
it's just funny to see them get mad and stuff like that. Because I'm like, I can't really see myself doing that, on a
Hmm.
whole podcast. Like, what is there to get mad about?
Yeah.
You have people on that are living their own lives. They're here to vibe. What are
Yeah.
people getting mad about? So it's just funny to see all that type of stuff.
Yeah. I see that on TikTok a lot, but I personally don't watch podcasts like that. Like with all the cheese and drama. Like I want to hear more positive things.
Okay. So what about the TV shows or like the shows that are like on Netflix and stuff like that? You watch those cheese made type of shows?
No, not like which ones? Like Love Island. That's
That
all.
one. There's that one where they can't be intimate for like a duration of a time. I forgot what it's called.
No, I'm not into those shows. They just
No,
like don't attract my
I used I used to
attention.
not I used to not be. Then I got curious and I was like, let me see what this is about. And I'm like, shit. And then I'm that guy that's also like, I feel like I'd kill that show. Like I would be good.
Like you'd be good. That's
Mm.
funny. No,
Because
like
I had
just with celebrities too. Like I don't follow up. I couldn't tell you like the Kim Kardashians, whatever. Like,
so yeah, I would say there's a select few that I'll like keep on track with, and then there's some that I'm just like I don't really care for. So the Kardashians, I don't care for. I feel
yeah,
like they're part of the downfall of this generation. To be honest with you, like they're part of that reason. Um, the ones I would like pay attention to are like people that sing corridos or reggaeton artists, stuff like that. Some actors, actresses, um,
okay.
the good ones,
Mhm.
but yeah, not the ones that I feel like brought down this generation.
Yeah, no. So I don't really watch TV TV shows. But
No.
yeah. But I feel like there's so much good things too about our generation as well, and I definitely don't want to like bring it down. It really does come down to you and what you expose yourself to when it comes to social media.
That's a good one right there. You're the first person to say that. It's all up to the person. I mean, that is true. That
Yeah.
is really true. I can tell you, I feel like one of the good things our generation has is because of all this technology, allow people to become more creative in what they
Hmm.
want to do, which I do like. We need
Yeah.
more creative people, so I like that. It's just the only cons I could see is just if people wanted to have relationships and stuff like that, get in the dating world, it's gonna be tough for people to do that.
Yeah. It is tough. It's tough.
Definitely.
But yeah, like I said, we do have like control of what we watch because also people through social media, it also gives us that ability to feel like seen and relate to other people as well.
Right.
Could also be it is a positive thing as well.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
Because
What are the pros you got for this generation? Because the only one I can think of is the creative the creative part.
the creative, people are more well. I feel like more people are willing to take risk on themselves, willing to take risk.
For for the trends, yeah. For the trends, yeah. If it's not for the trends, not so much. That's what I believe.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? What do you mean for the
So there was this one TikToker. You probably I've heard of it. There's that AI challenge. It's been around for a while now. When that first started, it started with one person, and she blew up from that. Got tons of money. Cool, good for her. We love that. But people started following that. Like, okay, so she's getting clout for that. She's getting money for that. I'll do the same thing and let's see what happens from there. And then they go in and start to do that as well. And they blow up and they do their own thing, which is cool, follow trends, get your money, cool. But I feel like if that wasn't the trend, they wouldn't have done that. They would have made something else and found their own trend, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Some,
So,
yeah, I get what you mean. Like, kind of like people are like, rather than being creative, more like followers because they see what other people are doing, like that work. Now I'm gonna go do and do
right,
the same thing. Yeah,
right. So it goes back to what I'm saying. Like, there's creative individuals out there creating these trends. They're doing good. But then they have people that are following those trends and kind of feeding that. feeding off that money, feeding off that clout because they're following what someone else already did. If
Yeah.
that makes sense, and
Yeah.
it's gotten to the point where I I feel like someone or it's already up there can make this trend where they go out in the backyard, eat some dog shit. Other people are gonna follow that if they see that they got clout and money from doing that. Strongly believe that.
But at the end of the day, it's us. We're supporting them, like on
I
our
mean,
phone,
I
tapping,
would
like, commenting.
I wouldn't support it. I would just watch it and be like, is he really about
Yeah,
to eat dog shit for this? Okay.
because
You know,
each comment, like that's just getting them more support. The longer we're viewing, yeah,
I was gonna say I guess I feel you because I'm one of the viewers, just getting curious about it. Yeah.
watching it over and over 30 times.
Right. And yeah, and then now it's just the biggest trend in the world to eat dog shit. Damn, But I strongly feel like it's pretty much at that point where people will do anything for the clout, for the money, and to be trending for
Yeah,
sure. You know,
it's sad. It's kind of sad too.
it is, and especially because let's say they do blow up, and they do get all that, it's gonna go to their head.
Yeah.
Nine times out of ten, it gets to their head a lot, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm famous now, so I could do this, I could do that, I could treat people this type of way."
Mhm.
It gets out of hand, in my opinion.
And it
You know,
just shows who people really are too.
right, right,
I
right.
believe that like fame and money just brings out who people
Right. And you still kind of see that on Instagram. You'll still see stuff like that on Instagram. But
yeah.
TikTok, I'm a stand on TikTok has the cake for all of it.
Ooh, okay. Another thing with like social media is like how people present themselves as well too. Like someone could present themselves as if they're living like a lavish life, but be in so much debt as well.
And you- yeah.
Because I definitely do know people like that too who are travelers who but are just like in so much debt and kind of even I've caught and I speak from personal experience too because I definitely have caught myself to like comparing my life to other people's lives
Hmm.
on social media. Definitely have been guilty about that as well. But we don't really know what's like behind doors. People only show, their best, their
Right.
best.
They only show you what they want everybody else to see. Type
Yeah,
deal. Yeah.
which there's nothing wrong with that too. But we just have to keep that in mind too.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, I would say I'm the type of individual that, I like nice things just like the next person. I like nice things, but I'm definitely not going to be the type to flaunt money or anything like that. Or, if I'm traveling, yeah, I'll take pictures, do all that stuff, but I'm not going to just flaunt it. Like, hey, look what I'm doing. I'm not going to do that. And I
Yeah.
feel like people that do that are the ones that do end up in debt later on because they went on that trip or they got that nice thing or they,
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. But they
Yeah.
will damn sure flaunt it for sure.
Definitely, and it only comes back to bite them.
Oh, I would hope so. Good.
No, what I mean is like when people either like they get too much fame or too much money too fast and don't know how to be responsible about it. Like it only bites them in the butt. I don't know how to say it. In other words, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It'll definitely bite up in the ass later on for sure. But I had to learn at a young age that I had to be smart with money. Because I was definitely that kid where it's like, oh, my first paycheck, I gotta get this and that and all these nice shit. So I had to be wary about it later on,
No, that's how I am too. I'm very
especially
mindful.
especially because I came from Chicano parents.
It makes
I
it
had to
makes
learn
a
real quick.
difference. It makes a difference.
It does. You ate like as a male when you're 18, you're on your own. You're on your own. Like there's no living in mama's basement. There's no doing stuff like that. You out on your own. Like they'll be there to support you and help you out, but you're not gonna be under the roof no more. Type of
Mhm.
deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to learn at a young age, and I feel like that's the beauty of having cool, not cool, but responsible type families, responsible parents like that because they teach you like this is how you need to be and this is what you need to do. And I feel like a lot of parents these days don't really do that so much with their kids, and that's why you see this generation kind of going the way it's going. I feel like that does kind of play a role into it.
Yeah. And just limiting their social, because too, I see a lot of very young people on social media,
Very
like
young, like how young are you? How long are you?
12, 15, um, and they just have a lot of access to things we didn't. The
That is
internet
true.
really exposes you to a lot of things.
That is true. Kids nowadays, they
Yeah.
have iPads and phones at a young age. I
Hmm.
didn't get my first phone till like sixth grade, probably. You know.
Mine was high school. Like
Yeah,
eighth grade or ninth grade. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't get mine until like sixth grade, but I still knew kids that would get the flip phone or the little slide with the keyboard. They would
Mhm.
get those around like earlier, like a little like fourth grade, fifth grade, whatever. But the fact that there's 3 year olds, 4 year olds that got a whole phone, got a whole iPad, access to the internet, like that's a little scary if you think about it.
Yeah, it is. And the things that pop up, like rant, like the shorts, the YouTube shorts.
They
Yeah.
gonna fuck around and get on a porn site by accident. Like
Yeah, even like workout videos for kids to see. I think that's a little bit inappropriate.
the workout videos.
Well, like if some women are just like in their sports bra and like really short shorts, and like these kids are like younger. Yeah.
I feel like yeah, I can see what you mean by that. But at the same time, I feel like to them they're just seeing like a woman doing a workout. Like, oh, that's cool. I could probably do that,
Yeah.
type of deal. I don't think they're really thinking about like what's can possibly be exposed type of deal. At least I
Yeah.
hope not. At least I hope, But yeah, the fact that they have access to the internet at a young age like this is crazy,
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Have access to a lot.
Right. Because I'm trying to picture me as a parent, and I'm like, dude, like you don't need to know about none of that stuff right now
It's
at
scary
all.
to think about. I'm like, no.
Very
Yeah.
much, so. Yeah, you know, and I feel like it'd be scarier to me if I had a daughter too. Like just as a dude, because like I don't really know too much about what a girl like what a daughter would need or like what to do type deal. Like if they're older and they had their period, like I wouldn't know. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know what type of tampons, all that stuff. I wouldn't. So I'd be kind of freaking out as a parent, to be honest.
Well,
Versus like
hopefully you'd have your partner.
that is true, and that's something that also needs to change. There's a lot of single parents in this generation
There
too.
is so
I see it way too often.
yeah. So many, yeah. I know many. So many parents are single. So just that's huge. Just like your partner who you choose. It's very important. I believe it's one of the most important things, the person that you
Right.
choose to be with.
So when it comes to that selective dating, selective relationships, what do you think this generation messes up on when it comes to selecting?
To selecting. I think we let our so many things. We letting our ego, our pride get in the way, not being willing to look at, our own like internal wounds and how they show up in our relationships, being able to communicate that, be
Right.
vulnerable, be accepting. Because we all want love. We all want love, but that requires us to be vulnerable. That
Ooh,
requires us to leave our ego, leave our pride aside.
I like that you said that. You gotta be vulnerable. That means you gotta have your walls down. Too many people get in these different relationships that have their walls up. That means, and for me, that means that the trust is already out the window.
Yeah.
If their walls are already up and they're trying to get in a relationship, they already don't trust that individual, and that's gonna cause problems. I feel like later on down the road, because I feel like communication and trust is like the two biggest things you could have in a relationship itself.
Yeah. And when you have those walls up, you don't even give yourself the opportunity to truly show up in that relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So but I can feel them though, because I feel like if you've had a lot of bad experiences with relationships, you had a lot of bad toxic ones, it's gonna be hard to let those walls down because you feel like if you let those walls down, like it's gonna be a repeat. You're gonna get cheated on or played with. I've been there before, so it's kind of hard to let your walls down.
It is, but at the end of the day, you were okay. Like you're okay. You learned something.
Oh yeah, I consider them all learning experiences type of deal. I'll still look back on it even till this day, and I'm like, damn, definitely should have done that differently.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always a learning experience. But what about you? What do you think is like the biggest barrier in relationships?
So I'm gonna say based off individuals that I grew up around and that I lived around, I would say that the majority of the females that are around my age, even younger, they prefer to go to the bad dudes. The dudes that are into the bad shit, doing some crime and shit like that. You know, and I had homies that did stuff like that. I had cousins that did that shit.
Yeah.
And for some reason, somehow they ended up getting a lot of females, had a lot of that attention versus the nerd, the smart dude that was in the class getting good grades, didn't get so much attention. So for me, I just feel like it was just the fact that people just choose the wrong people.
Yeah.
They're choosing what they think is going to be good for them, but in the end, they come to find out it's not, and yet they still go back to that same person. You know, that's what I see a lot. So I think that's the big problem as far as this generation.
Also, could be too like what feels familiar. If that's all they saw, like growing up too. Um,
They're more
if
comfortable with it.
self toxic relationships, that's all they knew. It's
Yeah,
kind of what feels familiar, what feels safe. Because even a healthy relationship to you, if that's not what you're used to, it can be triggering. It can feel unsafe, even though it is healthy for you, just because your body's not used to it.
which is weird to me because I've seen and I've had homies that got in these relationships where it's like one person is lovey dovey, the other person is used to being treated like shit. And
Yeah.
they break up because the person that was used to being treated like shit didn't like how lovey dovey their significant other at the time was. So they
Hmm.
broke up because of that. And it's like, why?
Yeah. I,
Like that's a good change to adapt to. Like that, it might not be comfortable right now, but that's a good change that you should
yeah.
be trying to adapt to. You know,
Then they go to the guy that isn't so lovey dovey. So
and
yeah,
yeah, treats them like
it's
shit.
so
Which,
healthy.
like that's something I never understood, but at the same time, kind of did because what you said, like that's probably what they're used to. But
Yeah.
as humans, we adapt to things. So if it's a change that you need to adapt to,
Hmm.
your effort should be right there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much we can say about relationships because going on with that is also like people need to be aware of like what they need to work on and be
Hmm.
willing to work on it because I see that a lot too. Like there's so many things I need to work on to be a better partner, just to be a better person. Like they're aware of what they need to work on, but
Right,
that's not enough being aware of it. You have to take action
right.
to unlearn those habits, just overall to be whatever it is you need to work on, whether that be communication.
Well, one thing I also found that worked every time is don't focus on it. Straight up, don't focus on trying to find the right one, trying to get in the right relationship. Because for me personally, I found that if you focus on what you got to do, you focus on yourself, everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
So that one for you might be right down the line if you just keep going and focusing on you. You know, because
Yeah.
there are a lot of people also that just try to focus on finding that right one and they keep ended up finding the wrong ones, thinking that they're the right one at first, and it's just a constant repeat because that's what they're focused on. You know,
There was what was the saying? Like you have to become the right. I don't remember. It was something along the lines like you have to become the right one for yourself. Like asking yourself, would you spend the rest of your life with yourself? And if you wouldn't, if the answer isn't heck yes, I would, then there's things that you still need to work on in order for you to attract that person.
right,
Overall, at the end of the day, like you are that person that you're searching for. You
right.
just need to
You got to be good and established yourself before you go and venture off to other goals and shit like that. That's just like we could sit here and say it's common sense, but people aren't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So by us speaking about it, I hope that at least, even if it's a small amount of number, like it's a small number of people that just adapt to that change and just start doing that, I'll be happy. I'll be cool with it. You know, because I feel like that would make relationships at least a little bit healthier.
Yeah, they're hard.
We might see more face to face interactions. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, because let's be real, the dating apps in this day and age are not dating apps.
They're just basically hookup apps. But I do know that I do know a lot of people who actually I don't I do know a lot of people who have successful relationships who have met on dating apps.
It was Christian Mingle probably. I feel like that's a good one, probably. It's got Christian in it, so I mean, I'm assuming that's one of the good ones. It's not going to be Tinder or all these other apps that are out there, because yeah, those are absolutely hookup apps for sure.
Yeah. No, dating apps are just they're not it.
Not only that, but you got to think when you're swiping and stuff, you're only seeing what the person looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they could look as good as they want to, as good as they want to look for you. Cool. But then you go and meet them in person, and it's like the personality's just not all the way there. Then you're like, oh shit.
But that's kind of how it is in person too, because what's the initial thing that's going to attract you to someone?
Right, the looks. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But at least when you're in person, right off the rip, you could just sense vibe. You could just tell like the vibe of that person. Versus picture, you gotta like a week from now, let's go do this, and you're like waiting for that week. You're kind of amped up about it, and then that week comes, and it's not what you thought.
Yeah.
Versus in person, it's just that's right off the rip. Like, nope, I don't like your vibe. That was only a minute interaction.
No, that's true. That's true.
So definitely, that's definitely the change I do want to see in the future is more people like having more face to face interactions, not being afraid to talk in person. Even just going out in nightlife, just more people vibing and stuff. Because
Yeah.
at least here where I'm at, here in El Paso, Texas, I don't see a lot of people doing that in the nightlife.
Well,
You go into bars, you go into these bars, you go into these clubs, and people, strangers, are just dancing on each other. Don't even know who the hell each other are.
yeah. Also too, like where are you going to? Like bars? Like what do people typically do at bars though?
You're right. Yeah, they go to bars and clubs. They're trying to find, a fuck buddy. But there's times where a group of females will go out just to enjoy themselves as friends.
Yeah.
There's times where that happens. But I tell people, don't, if you're gonna look for a relationship, don't go to these places. You know,
Yeah, I know.
this is
Go to places where you would like things that interest you. That way you'll find like individuals who like
right. They say that, and they also say the grocery store.
the grocery store. I've
The
never been
grocery.
at the grocery store.
You said you no.
No.
I feel like that's somewhat true though. Like you at a grocery store and I feel like that's I feel like that'd be easier.
So rare. I feel like that's rare though. Or do you hear that a lot? Like people meeting at a grocery store?
I've heard it a couple times.
Yeah.
I've heard people meeting in a Walmart. you know, like
Walmart. Yeah.
yeah, I've heard people meeting in a Walmart. Like it's like oh shit.
Yeah, just
I
putting
guess.
yourself out there in general, putting yourself out there more, doing more community stuff, like you said. And
Hmm.
that's anywhere too, because where I live, it is a small town and there really isn't much to do. Like I compare it to being in San Diego. Like when I came back to live here, so I'm back in my hometown. I had a hard time adjusting because I was like, there's so much to do in San Diego, like the nightlife, like it doesn't matter when. Like there is so much to do.
I was gonna
Um,
say like it seems like there's a endless amount of things to do in Dago for sure.
Yeah, but it's also like
And
a mindset too. I was like, Jess, there's things to do here. Yes, it may be a little bit harder to find. And maybe things that may not sound like they interest you. However, you never know. So I've
right.
kind of been taking that step to try different things here. So you kind of have to put that effort into as well, rather than just staying cooped up at home, trying to meet people on dating apps.
Yeah. Yeah, people need to definitely do that. The way you put that sound creepy. Like, and the motherfuckers are staying home, getting on the websites and shit, like on the apps. That's just crazy to me. Yeah, people definitely do need to go outside more. Touch grass. Meet some people, because you never know. Like,
Socialize.
you not. Yeah, like you never know. You might step out and you might meet like a group of people that you just click with like that, and boom, you got a friend group right there.
Yeah.
You know that just outside of relationship wise, like that's boom, you just found friends.
Yeah. Being okay too with like doing things alone.
Right, right.
Step.
Or you might get approached by somebody. You never know. You never know. That is one thing I will say. It is very rare for a dude to get approached by a woman
Hmm.
outside. Why do you think that is?
Hmm. Well, I think the guy should be the one to approach.
I 100% agree. That's like the given thing. Like that's something we got to do. I've heard of rare occasions where the woman's like, "Nah, fuck it. I'm gonna walk up to him. I'm gonna say my thing." And to be honest with you, that's happened a couple times too, and it wasn't that bad. Like
Yeah.
that's something, that's one of those changes too. I'm like, that's not that bad. That's something different. Okay.
Yeah. I've thought about it before too, but I don't know if I just get my head. But I am curious, like how, like you as a guy, like how do you? Is that something that you like, or like what goes like through?
I would say yeah. I would say I do like that a lot better because at least. So here's the thing. As a dude, we have a hard time figuring out just by interactions too. Like we're so I don't even know. Like we're pretty dumb people when it comes to relationships and understanding women. We're pretty dumb. I'm not gonna lie. So it'd be hard for us to tell whether she likes us or not, or whether she just wants to be friends. Like unless they directly say it, we won't know. And
Yeah.
so at least when a woman approaches us, we already know right off the rip. Okay, she's interested in me. That means she wants to put her time, she wants to put her energy into getting to know me, and seeing where that goes. I'm down for it. Cool. Versus if a dude goes up to a woman and they have a cool interaction, she gives him his number, but we still don't know what that means. He might text and call that number, and it might be the wrong number, or it might be I don't know. She might just not even pick up, and
Yeah.
right there in your head, you're like, okay, she wasn't interested. So what the fuck? You see how complicated that could be. You know what I'm saying?
That happens. That could happen to the girl as well. She can take that step to
If
approach
she
him. And
That could happen, yeah. But majority of the time, the dudes, if he's the right dude, has like a good head on his shoulder, he's gonna know like, okay, she's into me, cool. I'm gonna see where that goes. Why not? I'm also just speaking by personal. Me personally as a dude, I would be that way.
yeah, I've been like back and forth, but I kind of just like I'm like, no, if you're a man, like you take the lead.
So you're the one that's like, I'm gonna give you eye contact, and
Yeah,
so
like
you
I'll let you
come.
know. I'll
Okay,
let you know, but I like you need to make the move, basically.
right.
Yeah.
So are there like telltale signs where you're like, you need to come up, talk to me, type of deal? Like, what do you have those signs that you kind of what's the word, subliminally give them to come
I
walk up?
feel like women, we have a lot of power. I'm just gonna say it, we do. We have a lot of power. Like you can tell by a woman's like look, like when they look at you.
True, true.
I think so. Yeah.
But there's been times like I don't know, like eyes deceive. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be getting stared at, and then come to find out, like she was just looking in your general direction and didn't even really notice you, type of deal. You know.
I mean that happens. That happens
So
sometimes.
so so you personally, right? If you saw a dude that you liked, what you'd obviously like, stare in his direction, but at the same time, like, what would be the subliminal type signs where like he needs to like come talk to me?
Ooh.
What would
I
be
don't
those type of?
stare. It would just be a stare.
It would just be a stare, like you just staring into his soul.
No, okay, not like that either. But I would just like I don't know. I've done it. I've done it before. I've done it
Right.
before. More of like a stare. And if we do have a conversation, like I'm just like I let people know if I am interested. I have before.
Right. And then if you're not, you're just kind of like, okay, bye, type deal.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's funny. Yeah. I feel like those moments could get awkward though, because let's say like the dude thought you were staring at him or like giving him that look and he goes up to talk to you. And then you're just like, oh no, sorry, like I'm not interested. And he's like, fuck. I
Yeah,
feel,
it happens though. You can't really avoid that.
right. I feel like as a dude, you just gotta be like, okay, there's no problem. Just gotta take it.
But yeah, you just gotta take it.
You win
Never
some, you lose some.
It happens. It happens to men and women. Of course, I know that it happens to guys a lot more.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Especially since they're making the first move, definitely. Absolutely. You know. It, I've actually rarely seen a woman get dissed, like a beautiful woman get dissed.
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of like, dudes that are, supposedly attractive get dissed all the time. Like even homies, like I would take them out and they'd go try to shoot their shot at different women, different females, and it's like dish left and right. And it's like, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, what happened to all that talk? You know,
I mean, there's much more than looks too.
absolutely. It's for me, like looks are gonna get my attention. It's the vibe and personality that's gonna keep me interacted.
Hmm.
I'm assuming that's the same way with females. Females could probably tell a vibe from a dude without even talking to him.
Yeah,
And I
I
say
feel.
that because I've seen a female check out dudes, and the dude will walk up, and then she's just like, "Nah, never mind." Like, nah, I don't
Yeah,
like.
you can feel people's energy. People's energy says a lot.
But it's crazy because I don't know if it was like just the way he walked up, or if they just sensed like they had that sixth sense. I'm like, damn, it's crazy. They didn't even say a word to each other yet. And
Probably.
it's crazy, but that's also been one of my goals too, is to like try to understand women a little more. That would help me out instead
Hmm.
of just instead of just going in blindly and not really understanding anything and not knowing the signs or whatnot. Like that's something I wanted to educate myself on, type of deal.
Okay,
Yeah,
as a woman, one thing I would say is, do you understand yourself?
yeah, 100%, 100%,
Definitely
100%.
the first step.
Before, probably not so much, but I feel like with all the different different downfalls I had, all the different upbringings, I definitely feel like I understand myself a lot more, for sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's always the first step.
Right. You are right. You are right. But we're about getting at that hour mark, but we do have a Q&A at the end of every podcast episode. It's only
Okay.
like 5 questions. I'm gonna just say I don't ask these questions. It's the people that watch and the people that listen to it, and they
Mhm.
pretty much ask whatever questions. So some of them are weird. I apologize in advance if they get out of hand. It's not like no like weird like sexual shit. It's just like you
Are
said what?
people watching right now?
No, 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 no. These are like pre that they had and stuff like that. And I'm saying right now, it's nothing like weird. It's not like that type of stuff. It's more like why would they ask that type of stuff?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
just weird stuff. All right. So here's the first one. There
Light skins or dark skins?
we go.
Like partners, right?
Assuming they mean relationships, that's what I'd take from it.
Light skins or dark. I don't really have a preference. A
Right.
preference.
So
I'll say light skins.
you said light skins.
Mhm.
So what I'm taking from it is they're probably talking about the black homies. If they're like a light skin black or a dark skin black. That's what I'm taking from it. Because not that often are us Latinos really called light skins or dark skins. Like we come in all colors and all, but we don't really like consider ourselves that. It's either juerito, morenita, like there's all kinds of different shit, but we don't say light skin or dark skin. So
I would say light skins. Light
light
skins.
skins. So like light skins as of like African Americans or like light skin as of just everybody.
I get African. I mean, I've dated a dark skin before.
Okay. So it didn't go well.
No, it did not.
I kind of want to know. I like you don't have to share, but I'm kind of curious.
Well, oh, just the relationship just didn't go well. Yeah.
Oh, just didn't work out. It was like nothing crazy, just didn't work out.
No, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
Okay, okay. All right, here's the second one.
What do you look for in a relationship? Um, Someone who is willing to grow, who knows themselves, who wants to do the work. That's what I look for in a relationship.
You know what I like is that you didn't say like looks wise. I mean, looks wise probably do play a part, but you didn't like say that, and you didn't say the height. You didn't say the zodiac sign. You didn't say like a bunch of other this weird shit that a lot of people say.
So,
I like that. That shows maturity. I fuck with it.
who's more your type, Puerto Ricans or Mexicans?
Like one of
Mexicans.
the homies asked this question. I really do. You said what now?
Mexicans?
Oh,
Was
okay.
that the question? Puerto Ricans or Mexicans?
Yeah, I feel like one of the homies asked that. He's Puerto Rican, so he's like, "We're the ultimate ethnicity." I'm like, "All right." He's like, "We mixed up with all kinds of different stuff." Like, I'm like, "We are too." Like, okay.
So, question for the guests: what's your
Type
type
it.
in a
I
man?
feel like you kind of answered that one already.
I personally don't really have a type. I don't have a type. I've dated. Oh, I just really look for someone who's ready, who, like I said, knows themselves, who's ready to
Right.
do the work and build a relationship, who truly wants that.
A man that shows maturity
Yeah,
and growth within
follows
himself.
through with what they say.
You said what?
That's follows through with what they say.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
that be
Absolutely.
something, they follow through with it.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
based off, yeah, I don't have a type.
Okay. I
Look,
like that answer though. Like that. That's like a very mature type of answer. I don't think anyone else before on this podcast really answered that. They're just like, I don't know. Dude has to have a buzz cut, fucking like all kinds of like different like features and stuff. I'm like, okay, your type is your type. I don't know.
a buzz cut, no. Looks can only go so far. Looks
You
can
don't
only
like
go.
buzz cut? You don't like buzz cuts?
No, it's not that. I just mean in general, like looks, they only go so far.
Right.
I
I feel
mean,
like
like
only
if you want someone you can communicate with.
right. I was gonna say if we're getting on that, I feel like only certain people can pull off buzz cuts. Only certain. Only certain. Because some people like the head shape is just not there.
It's not there.
And then this is the last one.
Last one. What would be a reason you'd cover your eyes? What would be a reason I cover my eyes? Probably yeah, a scary movie.
I'm gonna say, do you watch scary movies often? Like, is that like one of your
I
things?
love scary movies.
So you do that?
Yeah.
Really? Like how? Like what's a
Well,
demonstration?
like I like squint, like start squinting my eyes.
Oh, so you're not like covering them, you're just closing them.
Well, a little bit, like maybe one eye,
One
like
eye? Why one eye?
because I still want to see. I don't know. It just brings me comfort. Like
Okay.
I
So
just
you're
want to
not
like my eyes.
so you're not like doing like the typical thing where you like have both hands over your face. You're just more like one hand.
No, not like no. More of like
So has there ever been a movie that actually made you do that? Like we use both hands like over your whole face type shit, and you
no,
there's never been like not even like those gory movies or anything like that.
because like they give it away with scary movies. Like I've jumped before, but nothing's ever made me cover my eyes.
I feel like with the jump scares, yes, but the gory stuff, like with the guts spilling out and stuff, like that's.
I
I
don't really
mean,
like that. I don't like blood, like really gory, like blood everywhere.
so when you start seeing that in a movie, then what do you do?
I probably stop watching. It just like makes my stomach hurt.
Just
Like
turn it
too much
off.
blood. Yeah, too much blood. Just I like more of jump scares, scary movies.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. I don't watch any of the scary movies nowadays. They're all very demonic to me.
I
Like
don't
I like the old school slasher, like Friday the 13th, Nightmare
know.
on Elm Street, Halloween, shit like that.
Yeah,
But
I like those.
not the newer stuff. It's too demonic, you know. And I got crosses in my clip. We
Yeah.
don't need them turning upside down now. You feel me? We don't need none of that. Would you be down to answer another one, or are you good?
Yeah, I'll answer one more.
One more? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what?
This
So
scared me because I saw it was a long question, but now I'm reading it and
can you cover your face with your hands and look between your fingers with one eye? Do I
uh,
have to?
honestly, that's up to you. He's saying like he's seen models do it, so I'm kind of curious what models and
Yeah.
how the models did this.
Can I skip this question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's the answer.
Do you watch sports like football or basketball? No.
No,
I'm
yeah,
not
she.
a sports girly,
We need a
sadly.
good question here.
But
We need a good question. Okay, here we go.
why does height matter so much in dating?
Hmm.
I don't.
I mean, I got the answer based off what I was told.
Yeah. Why
So,
is height? I mean, it's. I don't know because I've never like dated anyone shorter than me or talked to anyone shorter than me, so that really hasn't like
well,
came.
how tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
So yeah, it's gonna be hard to find a dude that's shorter than 5'3".
Yeah, because
I'm
I
like a
would talk to someone that's the same height as me, but
I'm
I
like
don't
a
know.
good I'm like a good 5'6". So I think I'm definitely on the shorter side, but you know, it's not
Yeah,
like crazy or anything. Like I'm not like 5'1". I'm like fuck, you know.
yeah,
Um, but height, I feel like based off what I was told is when a female is next to a taller dude, she feels more protected. Like that's just like the illusion of it. Like she just feels more protected. But
yeah,
then I asked the question, what if they're the same height as you? Some of them were like, nope, can't do it. Others were like, that's okay. We can make that work. She's like,
yeah.
just as long as like I don't have to like bend over to kiss and shit like
Mhm.
that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I can see how height can make you like feel protected. Yeah,
Right, but
there's more things that will make you feel
let's
protected.
say there's a dude that's 5'2", does mixed martial arts, motherfucker's jacked. You telling me you're not gonna feel protected by that motherfucker? Like at that point,
Well,
height, you ain't even
that's
looking at the height at that point.
that's
You
what
know what
I
I'm
mean
saying?
by like there's other things that make a woman feel protected.
Okay. Yeah, because I brought that situation up, and they're still like, nah, he needs to be tall. Okay.
Yeah,
Then I hope that situation happens where you meet a dude shorter that's jacked the fuck up and tell me you don't feel protected. You're gonna feel intimidated if anything. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But that about wraps up this episode. I do appreciate you coming on for sure. I think this was a good episode. You had a lot of good points. I think even I even learned something today. So I like that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was a good episode. Stay in touch and you have yourself a good night.
Thank you.